Applications of dimensions. In this first application, we'll take checking the correctness of formula. Suppose we have been given a formula and we don't know whether it's correct or not. For example, we can take, say, potential energy, gravitational potential energy. It is equal to mgh. Now, I don't know whether this formula is correct or not, but I know this, that if potential energy on left hand side has been compared with mgh on right hand side, they both should have same dimension, because if I write 5 meter equal to 500 centimeter, if they both are equal, that means they both should be length. If I write 1 hour equals to 60 minutes, that means they both should be time. Then only I am equating both of them. Same way, if potential energy is equal to mgh, then both sides should have same dimension. Now, how do we check it? We first check the dimension of left side. Left hand side, it's energy. Energy, I know that formula for energy is force into displacement. Dimension of force is mlt minus 2 and displacement is L. So energy will be ml2 t minus 2. Now I'll take right side. It is, formula is mgh. M, mass. M. G is gravitational acceleration. Acceleration has dimension lt minus 2. And h is again height, so this is L, equal to ml2 t minus 2. We can see that left hand side and right hand side both have same dimension. So we'll write here the equation is dimensionally correct. Now, why this word dimensionally is important over here? Because this equation we have checked only dimensionally. That means dimensions are same on both sides. If I write potential energy equals to half mgh, this equation is also dimensionally correct, but actually this is not the right formula, because half, this factor, this constant is actually not there in the formula. So we cannot check the value of constant with this method. We can check only the dimensional correctness with this formula. Another example we'll take. Suppose we have been given a formula T is equal to K square root of rho R cube upon capital S. Here rho is density, R is radius, of a drop, S is surface tension of a liquid drop, which is equal to force upon length, and this T is time period of oscillation of liquid drop. Now we'll check the correctness of this formula. Left hand side, time, so T has dimension capital T. Now right side, as K is a proportionality constant, so we will not take its dimension because it doesn't have any dimension. Square root, rho is density, dimension of density is ml minus 3, R cube, it's L cube, divided by surface tension. So surface tension has dimension. If I calculate from here, force upon length, this will be m t minus 2. Solve this. is cancelled here, L minus 3, L cube is cancelled here. We get t raised to the power 2. Now square root is half, so t square and its power half becomes t only. So here also left hand side and right hand side both have same dimension. So our formula is dimensionally correct. Another example, S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is second linear equation, Newton's linear equation of motion. Now in this equation, we have more than one term on right hand side. In such case, each term like S, ut, half at square, each term should have same dimension because we can add only like quantities. Only like quantities can be added or subtracted. For example, if I am adding 10 meter plus 5 meter, this will give me 15 meter of length. I cannot add 10 meter and 5 second and make it 15 meter. This is not possible. So each term should have same dimension. So here we'll check the dimension of each term. If they all are same, then our equation will be dimensionally correct. So on left hand side, dimension of S, length. Right hand side, ut, u is velocity, lt minus 1, t is time, so this is also L. When I take half at square, I won't take half because it's a constant, at square, a acceleration, lt minus 2, t square, this is L. So each term on left hand side as well as on right hand side have same dimension. So we'll write equation is dimensionally correct. Second application of dimensions is that we can find the dimension of unknown variable in an equation. For this, we use principle of homogeneity. Principle of homogeneity is that all the terms which are being added or subtracted, they should have same dimensions. And only like terms can be added or subtracted. We'll do this with the help of an example. P is equal to ax plus bt square. Here P is pressure, x is distance, and t is time. A and B are unknown variables. So we have to find here dimension of A upon B. How do we do this? As we have written, pressure is equal to AX plus BT square. That means each term, pressure, AX, BT square, separately should have same dimensions. So we'll equate these dimensions. First P with AX, then P with BT square. So dimension of P is equal to dimension of AX. Pressure is, we know, ml minus 1, T minus 2, and here AX has dimension L. So dimension of A can be calculated by dividing it, and we get here ml minus 2, T minus 2. So A has dimension ml minus 2, T minus 2. Similarly, we equate pressure with BT square. dimension of P is equal to dimension of BT square. So pressure is ml minus 1 T minus 2 equals to B into T square. So from here B we get ml minus 1 T raised to power minus 4. So we have to find A upon B, divide A by B, we get L minus 1 T square. Now we'll see how we can convert a unit from one system to another system with the help of dimension. We'll do this by taking an example. Suppose we have been given a force 1 Newton. This is to be converted into CGS system. Now 1 Newton is equal to, in SI units, it is written as kilogram meter per second square. If it is to be converted into CGS system, then obviously the unit of force in CGS system is gram centimeter per second square. Now I have to see 1 kilogram meter per second square is equal to how many gram centimeter per second square. Dimension of force is mlt minus 2. So we'll take two systems. One is SI system and the other is CGS system. In this, suppose dimension of force is m1 L1 T1 minus 2, and in CGS we assume m2 L2 T2 minus 2. Here m1 is kg, L1 is meter and T1 is second, and in CGS system m2 is gram, L2 is centimeter and T2 is second. Now, according to principle of homogeneity, we know that N1 U1 is equal to N2 U2. That means the value of a physical quantity in one system is equal to the value in second system. So here we'll place the values. N1 is 1. This is M1 L1 T1 minus 2 equals to N2 we have to calculate. This is M2 L2 T2 minus 2. So N2 will be M1 upon M2. This is L1 upon L2. This is T1 upon T2 raised to power minus 2. Put the values here. M1 is kg, M2 is gram, L1 is meter, L2 is centimeter, T1 is second, T2 is also second, power minus 2. Now we will convert 1 kilogram into gram. Gram unit is cancelled, so we get the number 1000 into 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, so this is 100 into second cancelled, 1 raised to power minus 2 is 1. So value of N2 is 10 raised to the power 5. That means 1 Newton force is equal to 10 to the power 5 gram centimeter per second square, which is also called dyne. So it is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. Another example, value of capital G in MKS is given 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Now, again we have to convert it into CGS system. To convert in CGS system, first we'll have to change this unit because here it is written Newton. First we'll write Newton in terms of SI units, that is kilogram, meter and second. So Newton can be written as kilogram meter per second square. Here it is meter square, kilogram minus 2. So this is kilogram minus 1 meter cube second square. So this will be converted into CGS system. So in CGS system, its unit will be gram minus 1 centimeter cube second square. Again, we'll take it like this. Dimension of G is m minus 1 L cube T square. So here it will be m1 L1 T1, that is first system, and here it will be m2 L2 cube T2 square. So m1 is kg, L1 is meter, T1 is second, m2 is gram, L2 is centimeter, and T2 is second. Same formula, N1U1 is equal to N2U2. Here N1 will be 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. And here M1 minus 1 L1 cube T1 square equals to N2 we have to calculate. This is M2 minus 1 L2 cube and T2 square. N2 will be equal to 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. M1 is kg, M2 is gram and power minus 1. I am putting these values directly. L1 cube upon L2 cube. So this is meter upon centimeter cube and this is second upon second square. 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. Kilogram is equal to 1000 gram minus 1. So this will be 1 upon 1000. This is 100 centimeters. So it will be 100 power 3 and this is 1. So this will be 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 into 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power minus 3. So this will be 11 and 3 14 and 6. So 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 is the value of G in CGS system. In this video, we will discuss an application of method of dimension, that is derivation of a formula. This method I'll explain you with the help of an example. So suppose we have a quantity T which is time period of a simple pendulum and I have to derive a formula for this time period, and we know only that T depends upon mass of the bob, denoted by M, length of pendulum, L, and acceleration due to gravity, G. Suppose we know only this much, that the time period of a simple pendulum depends only upon mass of the bob, length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity. So from this information, how do we get formula for time period? That will be done by the method of dimension. So time period, we'll write here that it is proportional to, if it depends upon mass, we don't know that what is the power of mass in the formula, so we assume it A, then length say B, and acceleration due to gravity G is C. So we assume it that this time period is directly proportional to mass raised to the power A, L raised to the power B and G raised to the power C. Remove this proportionality sign, put equal to and add a constant K here. Now we'll put dimensions of all the quantities in this equation. the dimensions on both sides. While putting dimensions, we'll not write this k because k is a constant and it is dimensionless. Time period, its dimension will be t equal to, this is mass, so dimension will be m raised to the power a. L, length, so L raised to the power b. Acceleration has dimension lt minus 2, so raised to the power c. Add all these terms. This is m raised to power a. L has power b and c, so this will become p plus c. T is equal to minus 2c. Here t can be written as m0 L0 t1. Now here we'll use principle of homogeneity, that if I'm equating this dimension with the dimension on right hand side, then the powers should be same, that this dimension should be equal to dimension on right side. So we'll write equating the powers of m, L, t on both sides. So when I equate here, a is 0 because power of m, here is a and this side is 0, so a is equal to 0. This is my first equation. Then L power is b plus c, this is equal to 0, and minus 2c, this is equal to 1. So these are three equations. From third equation, if I see, c is equal to minus 1 by 2. Put this value of c in equation 2. This is b minus half equals to 0, which is equal to b is equal to 1 by 2. So we have value of a as 0, c is minus 1 by 2, b is equal to 1 by 2. So we'll put these values of a, b, c in the equation that we had assumed in the beginning, which was this one. So here we'll put a, b, c. We'll put in this equation with proportionality constant k. So I'm going to place it here. T is equal to k, m raised to the power 0, L raised to the power half, and g raised to the power minus half. So this t will be m raised to the power 0. That means time period does not depend upon mass. There is mass is not there in the formula. So k, half power minus half, we can put it like this, square root L upon g. This is the formula for time period of simple pendulum. Value of k, that is constant, cannot be calculated by this method, by the method of dimension. If we know the value, then we can place here. Otherwise, we can leave this formula in this situation only. I know that here k is equal to 2 pi. So t will be equal to 2 pi square root of L upon g. This is the formula for time period of simple pendulum. Another example. Question is, the frequency of vibration nu of a string may depend upon length L of the string, tension T in the string, and mass per unit length m of the string. Using dimensions, derive the formula for nu. This is for the string which is clamped on two sides. Suppose it is clamped on two sides, here and here, and its length is say L. So when it is vibrated, it vibrates with frequency say nu. Tension, that means how much force, with how tightly the string has been fixed on these two clamps. And m here stands for mass per unit length of the string. So how do we derive the formula for frequency? Nu is proportional to L raised to the power a, T raised to the power b, m raised to the power c. It depends upon these three quantities. We'll remove this proportionality sign and put a constant k. Now I'll put dimensions on both sides. Dimensions on both sides. So nu is frequency, its dimension is t minus 1. Will not take k. Length is L raised to the power a. Tension is force. So we'll put dimension of force over here, mlt minus 2 raised to the power b. And here m stands for mass per unit length. So we'll write it ml minus 1 raised to the power c. Combine these terms. This becomes m. M has power b and c. So this is mb plus c. L has power a, b and minus c. This is a plus b minus c. And t is minus 2b. Here we have m0, L0, t minus 1. So equating the powers on both sides. The powers of m, l, t on both sides. We get b plus c equals to 0. A plus b minus c equals to 0. And minus 2b is equal to minus 1. These are three equations. We can solve them and get the values of a, b, c. So from here, when we solve them, we get a is equal to minus 1, b is equal to half, and c is equal to minus half. So when we place these values in the equation, that is this. So nu is equal to k, L raised to the power minus 1, t raised to the power half, m raised to the power minus half. So it is k upon L square root of t upon m. This is the formula for frequency of vibration of a string. Here again, value of proportionality constant k is unknown. We cannot get this value from the method of dimension. Next example, the wavelength lambda of matter waves may depend upon Planck's constant h, mass m and velocity v of the particle. Use the method of dimensions to derive the formula. We have to find a relation of wavelength of waves, matter waves, in terms of h, v and mass m. Now here we'll use the same method, that is lambda is proportional to h raised to the power a, m raised to the power b and velocity raised to the power c. Remove this proportionality sign, put a constant k and we'll put the dimensions on both sides. Dimensions on both sides. Lambda is wavelength, so wavelength is a length. We'll put L here. H. Now how do we get the dimension of H? We can use a formula separately. I am explaining here. E is equal to h nu. This is the formula for energy of a wave. E is energy here, h is Planck constant and nu is frequency. So if I write energy, that is work, ml2 t minus 2 equals to h and nu is t minus 1. So from here, dimension of h is ml2 t minus 1. So we'll place here ml2 t minus 1 raised to the power a. M is mass, m raised to the power b. Velocity lt minus 1 raised to the power c. combine these powers, m a plus b, then l 2a and plus c. T is minus a minus c, and here it is m0 l1 t0. We'll equate the powers. Equating the powers on both sides. A plus b equals to 0, 2a plus c equals to 1, and minus a minus c equals to 0. These are three equations. When we solve them from here, we get value of a is 1, value of b is minus 1, and value of c is also minus 1. We can solve these equations and get these values. Put this value of ABC in the equation. Lambda is equal to k h raised to the power a, m raised to the power b, and v raised to the power c. So this is lambda equals to k h1 m minus 1 v minus 1. So our formula is kh upon mv. There are certain limitations of dimension method. First limitation is, suppose we have derived a formula, time period of simple pendulum, and we get here k square root of L upon G. Now value of this constant, which is dimensionless constant, cannot be calculated by the method of dimension. So constants cannot be calculated by this method. This is the first limitation. Second limitation is that if a quantity, physical quantity, depends upon more than 3 quantities, it depends upon more than 3 quantities, then the relation cannot be established by using the method of dimension, because we have dimension MLT, and by equating MLT we can have only 3 linear equations, and by solving those 3 linear equations we can maximum get the value of 3 unknown variables. So if it depends upon more than 3 quantities, then it will not be able to get the relation by the dimension method. Third limitation is, suppose in a formula there are certain trigonometrical functions, sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. So because they don't have any dimension, so any formula including such kind of functions cannot be derived by the dimension method. Fourth relation is, suppose any formula or any equation has more than one term. For example, if we have s is equal to ut plus half at square. So this has 2 terms which are being added in right side. So such kind of relations can also not be established by dimension method. Another limitation is, by deriving a formula by the method of dimension, we cannot judge whether our physical quantity is a scalar quantity or vector quantity.